Welcome to the SVG-TV News for January 16, 2020. I am Khalil Kato with the details. The budgetary estimates for 2020 will be presented in Parliament on Wednesday, January 22nd, and Leader of the Opposition, Dr. Godwin Friday, says he is eager to see what the budget has to offer Vincentians.
The issues that are relevant in the country, which is primarily jobs. People want to find work, especially young people. And that is something that we are committed to doing as a party, and to bring the whole government accountable for not doing so for so many years they've been in office.
Dr. Friday said Vincentians could expect full representation on their behalf during the budget debate.
You should listen out to hear the presentations of the members of the Democratic Party. Well, you will get very strong, as we have always done. We have always done in the budget debate. We've always performed well. It's not a performance in the sense of art, but meaning representation of the constituencies.
Budget Day will be Monday, January 27th, to be presented by Minister of Finance, Camilo Gonzalez. Last year's budget amounted to some 1 billion EC dollars. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank will be removing the 1 and 2 cent coins from circulation at the end of June 2020, and persons are being encouraged to use them up before this deadline, after which they will have no value. Country manager of the ECCB, Elretha Miguel, said until that time, persons can use them in supermarkets or take them to the banks.
We have had some persons saying that the businesses have not been accepting the 1 cent and 2 cent coins, in their transactions. Again, we want to encourage the businesses because, as I said, they continue to be legal tender until June this year. So we want to encourage the businesses to continue to accept them in payment, but they will not give them back as change. So that's from the general public. So we encourage you to use them up. Go to the business places and use them up. You can also go to your financial institution and submit them to your financial institution, the banks, credit unions, all the financial institutions. They will accept them from you on behalf of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and they will accept them at face value. So they would give you whatever value you brought in.
Miguel explained that after the June deadline, they will wait to see if an extension is needed, which will be based on how many coins are received.
Monetary Council will make a determination as to whether they should extend the withdrawal period. I don't have any information on that. They may not, they may decide not to, but it's an option that is available to them to decide whether they can extend the withdrawal period. However, if persons still have some coins that they were not able to use, our currency management department will hold discussions with the commercial banks so that the commercial banks may be able to accept them on behalf of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So you would no longer be able to spend them, but it is possible you may be able to take them in to your financial institution, who will accept them on behalf of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank.
The ECCB country manager said 5 years ago they announced that they will be removing the 1 and 2 cent coins, which amounted to $500 million, and to date the ECCB has only collected 15 million of these coins.
Place very little value on them. So as such, we were issuing new coins, 1 and 2 cent coins, to the public, but they were not coming back into the banks for circulation. So we were losing on them. They were not profit making, and so it became expensive, it became costly to continue to produce these low valued coins. Quite a lot of redemptions, especially in the initial stages. In fact, there was one time just after the announcement was made, there was one time we actually sent up a container of 1 cent and 2 cent coins to our currency management department in St. Kitts at our head office.
The coins that will remain in circulation will be the 5, 10, 25 cents and the $1 coins. The World Pediatric Project over the years has touched the lives of many families here in SVG and across the region through their medical missions, and Executive Director for the Eastern Caribbean, Lauren McIntosh, said the organization is hoping to do more this year. McIntosh was at the time speaking with the Ministry of Health's Communications Officer, describing some of the objectives the organization wishes to achieve in 2020. She said 2019 was a productive year, and it is their hope to assist more children who need specialized care.
Obviously, that will be in conjunction with the Ministry of Health as well as local partners and pediatricians as well as the surgeons on board who refer patients to us. So we're hoping that more parents, if it is that you find that your child has something that we might be able to assist, contact your pediatrician, go to your clinic or your healthcare provider, and they would be able to refer. Other than that, we're actually hoping for about 14 to 15 missions again this year. Last year we had an extremely busy year and it was productive. We had a successful year, and this year we're hoping to maintain that. And again, just hoping that more parents will come forward if it is that you do think that there's something that we can do to help your child. We're always here, we're a phone call away. We're also continuing with our Every Child Counts campaign. We're moving into the second year of that campaign, and it is a 2-year campaign. Last year we were able to pull off a few events, and thank you to those who would have partnered with us, and even those who had their own events and found ways of contributing and donating to WPP last year. We're hoping that we will also continue with that this year and have more events, maybe of a different nature. Some of them may continue as well, and we're always welcoming persons who want to come on board and help in any which way that you can.
McIntosh said the WPP has also been implementing measures which will ensure that the care provided is more efficient.
Change in numbers, so our general surgery team that's on island now, we're hoping that we see 25 children or so at clinic today, but that does not change the number of surgeries that we anticipate that we're going to conduct during the week. And I think what it is that it's more so efficiency, if I can put it that way, on our part, in that we're trying to make sure that most of the children that come to our surgeries, or come to our clinic day rather, it is a situation where they're doing follow-up from procedures that they have done in the past, or we're triaging or sort of evaluating them before they actually come to the clinic day to figure out which ones are more important. You know, everybody's important, but the ones that definitely need the critical care as soon as possible. So our clinic numbers may be shrinking, but that's us being more efficient and us having diagnostic clinics in some of the other islands as well. The regional numbers may have shrunk a bit as well, but that again, we've had diagnostic clinics last year, which is something that we were able to achieve in some of the other islands, so that is as a result of that.
The WPP Eastern Caribbean Executive Director said the organization continues to work towards its goal of ensuring every child has access to critical child care by 2033.
Yeah, we're continuing our Every Child Counts campaign, as I alluded to before, which is to increase our awareness. We want to make sure that by 2023 we have an objective that every child will have that access to critical child care at a tertiary level, of course, by 2023. So reach out to us if you think that you have a child that WPP may be able to assist, and we can also direct you accordingly if it is that you need to see your pediatrician, and we go from there. Our contact number is 451-2989, and we also have a presence on social media. Our handle on Facebook as well as Instagram is WPP Caribbean. So feel free to reach out to us if you see any of the WPP team members along the way. There's no harm in asking a question, and obviously we're continuing to grow in numbers, grow in teams, and become more efficient along the way.
Programs to deal with disaster risk reduction for SVG for the next 5 years were deliberated on today by the relevant stakeholders. The National Emergency Management Organization, in collaboration with the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction and the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, hosted the workshop to finalize SVG's work program CWP for 2020 to 2024. Representatives at the workshop were drawn from the agriculture sector, tourism, telecommunications, and law enforcement agencies. Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, said current programs are expected to be strengthened and community readiness will also be looked into.
And each sector must incorporate policy and strategies to reduce risk from natural and man-made hazards and climate change. Hence the importance of today's consultation to reflect what each of us is doing. Our Country Work Program 2020 to 2024 have identified 5 outcomes. 1, strengthened institutional arrangements through enabling legislative, policy and regulatory environment for comprehensive disaster management, including risk financing and public-private partnership. 2, increase and sustained knowledge management and learning for comprehensive disaster management. 3, improved integration of comprehensive disaster management at sectoral levels with application of risk assessment in the national development planning. 4, improved operational readiness. And 5, strengthened and sustained community resilience.
Forbes says it is important that the country has a comprehensive work program to deal with all disasters.
2020, and encourage all sectors and agencies present here today to push forward to have their sector priorities articulated. This will allow us to achieve Target E of the Sendai Framework, which is to have a national and local disaster risk reduction strategy. This will be achieved through the finalization of the Country Work Program and the Comprehensive Disaster Management Policy and Strategy in 2020. I want us to encourage each agency sector to really give your support and articulate what we are doing as a country in terms of disaster risk reduction, so we can actually, anyone that picks up this document at a snapshot, they can see what St. Vincent and the Grenadines is actually doing.
SVG was praised for commencing the 5-year work program by advisor of the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, Maria Contro, who said it will put the country in a better position to deal with disasters.
The focus of our regional office is increasingly in the Caribbean region due to the exposure of the region to various natural hazards, a phenomenon that can be managed through multi-sectorial disaster risk reduction efforts. The work of the different sectors of the society is essential, as resilience is an all-of-society approach.
The current work program being used for SVG will end in March, and the new program should start in April 2020 and go until 2024. 4 members of the RSVG police force are today celebrating 32 years of service with the organization. These officers are Commissioner of Police Colin John, Inspector of Police Carmel Craig, and Police Sergeants Ophelia Little and Roland Connor. These officers enlisted in the RSVGPF on January 16, 1988, and later underwent 6 months of initial police training at the Regional Police Training School in Barbados from January 18, 1988. They returned to SVG in June of that same year and were deployed to different departments in the organization, and since then have been dutifully serving the people of SVG. Reflecting on his attainment of such a milestone in his career, Commissioner John says he has no regrets in joining the force at the time he did, noting that for the past 32 years, the police force has helped to shape his life and has molded him into the person he is today. Commissioner John was appointed to the Office of Commissioner of Police on January 2, 2018.